So you should be able to see my screen here. 6 ways to boost your immunity with Ayurveda. As I said, we're going to have a lot of practical suggestions, a lot of resources, a lot of useful information here for you. I want you to stay till the end of the seminar or the webinar. We do have a lot of samples to give out later on, and I'll show you how you can do that. We will also have a draw for my book, The 25-Day Ayurveda Cleanse. But to get started and to make sure that we can really sort of increase your viewing pleasure as we start, I want you to turn off everything that's operating in the background. That's any email systems. If you're running Skype, iTunes, or any programs like that, that could slow you down and make it difficult for you to be able to see. So go ahead and do that. And then silence your cell phones. Close your door, give yourself this time to discover these strategies. Have a nice cup of tea. I've got my tea with lemon and ginger and honey. So we're really going to talk about some strategies on immune boosting right now, and I want you to just be able to enjoy that. Now, you are muted, so if you're chattering away to me, hoping that I'm going to be able to reply to you, I cannot hear you. We are recording this webinar, though, so don't worry about it. None of your information is going to appear in the final webinar. The recording link will come out to you. Rebecca's going to be on that for you in an email for you as soon as possible. So you're going to have everything that you need. So let me ask you, are you worried about the current situation? Feel free to sort of put that in the chat box. It's kind of a scary, crazy time right now, isn't it? You know, we're hearing in the news that borders are closing, countries are closing their border, viruses are killing people, our health system's going to be overwhelmed. So, you know, there's a lot of anxiety around what's going on, and it's happening really, really quickly. I had a conversation with my sister just the other day, and it was quite scary. And we were saying to each other, you know, a month ago, if somebody had said, we'd be closing our borders, all our kids would be off school, our bars, restaurants, and cafes wouldn't be open, and we'd be kind of under lockdown, we'd be like, oh yeah, what crazy sci-fi movie have you been watching, and what on earth have you been sniffing? So we really wouldn't, as I say, it's a crazy time. So the solution to all this craziness is, how do we take control of what we can take control? There is so much that we can't control, that what can we do? Well, we can work on our health. We can be the best version of ourselves. And tonight I'm going to show you our system, our Ayurveda sort of 6-step system that's going to help build you immunity so that you can rest assured and know that you are doing the best job that you can for you. But let's just check in and see if you are in the right place tonight. So you are in the right place if you want to build your body's defenses by being proactive. So there is a lot we can't control. And as I said, what we can control is a lot about our immunity and being as healthy as possible in this trying time. You're also in the right place if you really want to reduce your risk of developing any kind of infection or other health-related conditions. Not just that there's the coronavirus out there, this is also flu season. This is also the time that we can get colds, congestion, bronchitis, pneumonia. So there's a lot of things that go on this time of year besides the coronavirus. And you're also in the right place if you are really looking for practical tips on how to protect you and your loved ones. So how will we do this? Well, we're going to look at the Ayurveda approach. And the Ayurveda approach says there is no one thing that's going to suit all people all at one time. So it's a systems approach where if you look at this pyramid, you can see at the bottom of the pyramid are emotions. This is where we have to start. All disease starts in the mind first and foremost. From emotions, once they're balanced, then we're going to look at food. You know, you have to have good nutrition to have a good immune system. So a good immune system starts with good nutrition. You know, if you eat crappy, you're going to feel crappy. So we're going to share some immune boosting foods with you. And at this point, I just want to sort of remind you that you don't have to write everything down. We are going to send you all the resources. We'll send you recipes. We'll send you our videos, our audios. We're going to send you everything that you need. So I really do want you to just sit back, absorb the information. Don't worry about having to sort of write everything down. Just rest assured that I'm going to send a Yoga Nitra guided meditation for you. I'm going to send recipes for you, my YouTube video on Dinacharya, which are daily routines. So we got you covered. Just relax. And I want you to really enjoy the webinar. But before I do that, I should introduce who I am. So my name is Kerry. I do come from London, England, and I'm an Ayurveda practitioner. That means I balance people's lives through diet, lifestyle, and herbs. And, you know, by telling you a little bit about myself, hopefully you'll know who you're talking to, and I'm not a complete stranger to you. But here in the US, we have 3 different levels of Ayurveda. We have the lifestyle counselor who deals mainly with nutrition. Then we have the Ayurveda practitioner. They have clinical training. And then lastly, there's the Ayurveda physician. We don't tend to train those in this country. They tend to be trained in India. So I'm at that second level, that's that practitioner level, have clinical training, and have a graduate degree from the Ayurveda Institute. And what that really means is I can recommend herbal therapies that best suit you. But I am the only Ayurveda practitioner that's affiliated with a consortium of academic health centers for integrative medicine. That is such a huge mouthful to say. And that includes my own facility, which is the University of Pittsburgh Center for Integrative Medicine. And here in my clinical practice, we really focus on the science behind this system of medicine, 5,000-year-old system of medicine. That way we really get the benefit of Western thought and Eastern wisdom as well. So where do I do this? Well, I'm at UPMC. You can see their logo, Life-Changing Medicine. I have a TED Talk out there on how we should change our healthcare system. And I also run the Ayurveda Sanctuary, which is a phenomenal life-changing retreat where we actually utilize all the Ayurveda therapeutic therapies that are right just for you. So there's a lot of good things we do at the Ayurveda Sanctuary. And then we're very proud that in this last year, we published a book, the 25-Day Ayurveda Cleanse. I'll be giving one of those out to you. We'll sort of enter you into a draw. So I'm happy to sign one of those and send one out to you. And you can find the 25-Day Ayurveda Cleanse at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, all the places you find books. So that's where I do this. But what I really want to do tonight is explore, if you like, the 6 ways that we're going to look at that pyramid to completely boost your immune system. And to remind you what that pyramid looks like, here we go. And we're going to start with, we're going to start looking at this whole system, because how do we boost our immune system? You know, we don't do it overnight. It needs to be strengthened, and it needs to be strengthened by a combination approach where we do look at lifestyle changes, we look at immune boosting foods, we look at sort of antimicrobial and antiviral herbs. So it is that whole systems approach. We're very used to, I think, sort of reaching for a supplement as the first line of defense, and really supplements are at the tip of the pyramid. That's the last line of defense, because all these other things should be in balance first. So what I'm going to do is start by looking at emotions and look at some tips that we can do so that we have emotional health, which is so important for immune health. So probably the first thing to ask yourself is, where are you in this chaotic world? Whatever your emotional state is right now, it is a normal reaction to a really abnormal situation. So if your anxiety has increased, you know, if your emotions are affecting you physically, maybe you're more depressed, maybe you're irritable or frustrated with the situation, maybe just there's that sort of generalized anxiety that you just don't know what's going to happen next. That's perfectly fine. but just sort of measure where you are, because if we can't measure where we are with our emotions, then how do we know what to do about it? We know that emotions affect our immune system. Have you ever had an argument with somebody and suddenly you feel sick to the stomach, or your stomach starts cramping, or you've had an incredibly stressful situation, maybe a stressful event in your life? You've risen to the challenge, you're dealing with that stress, and you think you're fine, you've gone through the other side, and then boom, you come down with a cold or flu or bronchitis. This is the sort of emotional state that's reduced your immune system. Now, right now, if you have any underlying sort of condition or problems, this may be exacerbated. So, for example, if you have an eating disorder, you may find that this has been triggered in this emotional time. Or if there's anxiety or depression, you might find that that's been triggered. Post-traumatic stress. I've talked to a lot of people this last week where this sort of where we are right now has sort of triggered their post-traumatic stress too. Maybe your anxiety has you having panic attacks too. So just assess where you are, and then just very gently tell yourself, it's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation, and I'm going to work on sort of balancing and grounding those emotions, whatever they are for you. When we look at emotions, one of the really important things to take in is that anything that we take in through our senses can either nourish us or not. We are so used to what nourishes us as being something we take through the digestive system. And yeah, it does do that. But anything that we see, that we hear, that we touch, that we smell also can nourish our system too. So if we look at sort of the slide in front of you, then let's look at sort of touch first. Isn't it nice when somebody just touches you on the shoulder? Or maybe you can touch somebody's arm. You know, somebody in the household, just that sense of touch. And they've done studies on this, can really ground that central nervous system. And it's not just about who you can touch or who can touch you, but it's having things that feel nice. This might be the perfect time to buy some silk sheets because it feels wonderful on the body. So enjoy that sense of touch. Surround you by things that feel really good for you. Maybe it's a soft, fluffy towel when you get out of the shower. Maybe it's your favorite soft, fuzzy slippers that you put on. But those sort of comforting things actually do ground the central nervous system or calm that central nervous system so that you can feel really grounded. Ultimately, that helps sort of support the immune system too. And then what we see, oh my gosh, there is so much to see right now. So if you're on TV and you're watching all these horrible visions of people on ventilators, you know, that's going to stay with you for a while. So whatever we take in through our sight also has an effect on us emotionally. So limit social media. If you're a person that, 24/7, you're on Facebook or you're catching the latest breaking news, maybe it's a good idea. I had a girlfriend the other day who turned around to me and said, I just took a couple of hours break from social media, just a couple of hours. That's all I needed to do. Went for a walk. And she said, I felt so much better, so much more balanced, so much calmer. So if you're listening to the news before you go to bed, it's probably not a good idea. That may affect your sleep. And if you're a Vata, you already know that you're pretty empathic. Anything that you watch is going to stay with you for a while. So if you're watching violent movies, watching something sad, that's going to stay with you for a while. So you have control of that. You can monitor that. So filter what comes in through that sense. Also with sound, loud noises may be too much right now. What you hear, you constantly listening to the news. Do you have live music throughout the house? Put on some gentle music, put on some spa music. Music definitely has the ability to calm our emotions too. Ultimately, once again, that helps with immune building. So watch out for loud noises. Watch out for what you listen to. Listen to your favorite song. Sit outside on the deck with a cup of tea and listen to the birds singing. All these things will have an ability to calm and to ground. And then taste, we've talked a little bit about that with food. Enjoy what you eat. That doesn't mean we have to all dash out and eat refined sugar. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But enjoy the taste of things. Take the time to mindfully eat your food. How does it taste? Or are you just sitting in front of the TV, just shoveling it in, not really paying attention to what you're eating? So really sort of enjoy that taste, and your digestive system will really help with that. And then smell. You know, smell is so important. We have a direct channel straight to the brain. Any smell goes through up to the hippocampus, which is why the sense of smell is so strong. You know, have you ever smelt something and suddenly you're transported back to a memory? That's because that sense of smell goes straight to the brain. So very important. So put some fresh spring flowers in your house. Diffuse some beautiful smelling essential oils. Make sure that that sense of smell is also good. Because when we exacerbate these senses, when we overload these senses, what we do is we increase stress. Stress is our fight or flight situation. We engage the sympathetic nervous system. Once that happens, we're in a state of anxiety. We're in a state of stress. The body doesn't do well in a state of stress for a long period of time. So by monitoring what you take in through the senses really does make a huge difference. And talking about stress, you know, I often have a lot of people who come to me and say, you know, I want to get rid of my stress. That's one of the goals they have in working with me. And it's like, yep, I wish Ayurveda could get rid of stress. I really do. It cannot. What it can do is help you manage your stress. Because stress is pretty dangerous. You know, the effects of the body include all kinds of things, like sort of mental issues, mood issues. We're talking about emotions right now. We get fatigued when we're under chronic stress. There's sleeping problems, and sort of we'll get increased blood pressure, cholesterol. We see a lot of this in our society right now. And this just reduces the immune system. So it's not able to do what it needs to do. So remember that stress system is the fight or flight system. It's the sympathetic nervous system. And when that is constantly going, then, yep, digestion's going to go out the window, sex drive's going to go out the window, sleep's probably going to go out the window, all because we're under stress. So really important to manage stress as we go through this time. And there are many different things that you can do to manage stress. I'll be sending you out an audio of a yoga nidra. Yoga nidra means yoga sleep. And an hour of yoga nidra is like having 4 hours of really good quality sleep. We do this in the Ayurveda Sanctuary. So I do have an audio of that I'm happy to send out to you. But, you know, just take some time out for you. Go ahead outside in nature. Nature has the wonderful ability to sort of ground that central nervous system. Really important to take time for yourself as well. And when we look at taking time for yourself, you know, self-care is not selfish. I have to fight with people to take time out just for themselves sometimes. And if you're a person that says, I just do not have 5 minutes a day for me, then you probably need an hour a day for you. So self-care, as I said, is not selfish. It's essential for your immune system. It's essential so that you can be the person that you need to be for everybody else that's there. So taking time for yourself doesn't mean you have to sit gazing over a sunset chanting, not at all. Taking time for yourself can be just 5 minutes with a cup of tea. That's what I like to do. That's why I keep bringing it up. It could be a walk. It could be listening to some music. It could be journaling, chanting, praying. It's whatever is right for you. So really important for immune building to take some time for yourself, especially in this crazy, chaotic time. So we've sort of looked at emotions, and if we sort of balance our emotions and they're doing pretty well, then we can move on to the next part of the pyramid, which is food. Now, I like to eat a happy diet. So I like to eat foods that are serotonin enhancing. These are things like fish oils, the omega-3s, healthy oils like coconuts. Really important to feed your body with immune boosting foods. Right now, that's probably more a plant-based diet. Not that animal protein isn't right for a lot of people, it really is. But it's more difficult to digest animal protein under stress. So it's probably easier to do a more plant-based diet right now with a lot of healthy fats. So when we talk about sort of eating right for our immune system, there are some things that are really important. First off, the link between nutrition and immune system function is really important. Good digestion means good health. You cannot be healthy if your digestive system is playing up. And how do you know it's playing up? Because you either have gas and bloating, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux or heartburn, or constant burping. These are all signs of a poor digestion. So some things that we want to do, make sure you do not skip meals. We want to stabilize blood sugar levels for our moods more than anything else. This is not the time to diet. This is not the time to say, hey, I'm at home. Now I'm going to get out the latest fad diet that's come down the pike. Dieting puts the body under stress. We're already under enough stress. We don't need any more. This is certainly not the time to diet. Not that I agree in diets at any time because they don't work. We need to look at if you're carrying extra weight, why? What's the root cause of that? So not a time to diet. Not a time to start sort of snacking on refined sugars. It's very tempting if you've got cravings right now to go for candy, cookies, sweets. And the sweet taste has a great quality. It grounds the central nervous system. And we kind of know that, don't we? Because if we have a piece of chocolate, then we're like, oh, I just feel better. Something sweet, something high fat is a lot of bang for its buck for your body. The reason is high fat, high sugar gives a lot of energy. So if you're feeling depleted because you're stressed, the body's going to give out cravings, things for highly sugared, high fat foods. Peanut butter cups, for example, M&Ms, all these you might sort of suddenly be looking at and thinking, wow, that looks really good right now. But here's the problem with refined sugars. You have something like several peanut butter cups and yep, energy goes up, insulin levels go up, you crash, and then you need to pick me up again. So then you're like, oh gosh, I'm feeling really tired, but I've got another meeting to do on Zoom, or I've got something else I have to do. I know, I'll have a cup of coffee. So then we pick back up again, and then insulin levels, increase, which also increases body fat, by the way. And then boom, we crash again. And we do this up, down, crash, burn throughout the whole day. This increases cortisol, increases adrenaline, and ultimately that's going to have you increase anxiety as well. So think nutrient-dense foods. Even if you're craving different tastes, try and figure out where that's coming from. Do you need to ground that central nervous system? If you're craving something salty, is it because you're trying to focus on something? And then sort of bypass the junk foods as much as possible. There's great fruit out there. One of my favorite foods that I like, or sort of Ayurveda junk food that I like when I'm craving something sweet, which I actually did this afternoon, was some date and nut balls. So you can take something like some medjool dates, grind them with some almonds, and then roll them in coconut flakes, or some people roll them in cocoa as well. And they make a really delicious treat that's very sweet, so it satisfies that sweet taste, but it's not going to have that crash burn effect from refined sugars. Now, I do want to share 3 foods with you that we are using now to help build our immune system. So what we're doing here is sharing with you all the things that we're doing right now. So we wanted to give you exactly what we're doing to build our immune systems as well. And one of those things is bone broth. So bone broth has had a lot of attention recently in terms of it's really healthy for the gut, decreases inflammation, and that's because bone broth has a lot of collagen and amino acids in it. What that does, the collagen and amino acids, is help seal any kind of opening in the gut. So we've also heard a lot about sort of leaky gut syndrome. This is when there's microscopic holes in the intestinal wall. So what's held within the intestines leaks out, leaky gut. That creates a huge amount of inflammation. So by having bone broth, that's going to help seal those sort of leaks, if you like, and supports the integrity of that intestinal wall. Now, we know that stress causes the digestive system to break down first and foremost. That's just what stress does. So if you're feeling that you've got more gas and bloating, or maybe you're just off, you've got constipation, maybe loose stools or diarrhea, then this is all indicative that you're under stress. So bone broth is a great immune boosting food. Vatas can put a little bit of ghee in their bone broth. Pittas can put some cilantro in their bone broth because they need to cool down, and Kaffas can just drink it as it is. So we will send you out a recipe for bone broth soup, so you will get that as well. I suggest sipping on it throughout the day. It's a really nice immune tonic. So a wonder food, bone broth. One of my favorite things to share, and we all have access to this, and Ayurveda has relied upon ginger since before recorded history. And that's because ginger has a warming effect. What it can do is it cleanses the lymphatic system. It's anti-inflammatory, it's antimicrobial, so it's great for any kind of infectious diseases. It's really cleansing and definitely clears sort of congestion in the lungs and in the sinuses. So remember, this time of year is also allergy season. So ginger has the wonderful ability to sort of clear through that congestion. So it's great anywhere. You can have ginger tea, make up a ginger gargle because it's anti-inflammatory. Eat it, diffuse with it. You can use ginger essential oil. We're used to thinking of ginger as a spice, and of course it is, but there's also a ginger essential oil, which has a lot of therapeutic benefits as well. We are right now making up a ginger turmeric tea as an immune booster. We're drinking that throughout the day. Again, that went out on my blog just recently, but we'll send that to you as well so that you have it. So you've got your bone broth that you're drinking for immune boosting, and you've got your ginger turmeric tea as well. And that kind of sort of segues into what I want to talk about, which is turmeric as well. So turmeric, a wonderful Ayurveda spice that sort of crossed over, and now everybody's doing turmeric, and it's become this sort of wonder spice. And I see people doing all kinds of things with turmeric, from turmeric face masks to capsules to drinks to putting it in dog food. One of the things, though, that a lot of people don't realize is the therapeutic effects from turmeric come out when you heat it, when you cook with it. So if you're taking turmeric capsules, they're probably not doing very much. You need it in your food. You need to cook with it. Now, the active ingredient in turmeric is curcumin, which is a really powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, and really helps with repairing inflammation. Now, some inflammation is good for the body, and I know that sounds strange, but you have a cut, for example. There is an inflammatory response to repair that cut. That's good. That's part of the body's immune system. But chronic inflammation is not good. So I think inflammation probably plays a major role in almost every chronic Western disease. We spend a lot of time in Ayurveda dealing with inflammation. And turmeric is such a good anti-inflammatory herb or spice that in studies, it's actually done better than a lot of the major anti-inflammatory pharmaceuticals that are out there. So turmeric is your friend. Start cooking with it. One of the things that we really love is a drink called golden milk. And this sort of combines a lot of things together and makes a wonderful tonic. So golden milk is actually made with ginger, turmeric, and black pepper. Those are the basic ingredients for golden milk. I've used that as a base in my immune tonic, in my immunity building kit. And on top of that, we've added moringa because it's anti-inflammatory, and a wonderful combination herb called Chandaprabha. And this is a lung supporting herb. So in today's world, we need our lungs to be supported as much as possible. So really nice. You'll get samples of this when I sort of talk about how you can get samples from the immunity kit. Every one of you that's on this call, and there are 75 of you, I've just checked, will get a sample from me. So I'm going to be busy this weekend. So coming back to our Ayurveda approach, so we've looked at emotions, we've looked at food and some wonderful anti-inflammatory foods. Let's look at fitness as we move up this systems approach, this Ayurveda approach to really tip-top immune health. So good health is not just about sort of eating organic food or taking supplements. To have a healthy, strong body, we need it to do what we need it to do. I have a lot of people who talk to me and say, I just can't do the things that I want to do. I want to go for long hikes. I used to be able to do these things, but then through illness or inflammation or disease, they just can't do it anymore. And keeping fit has so many benefits, doesn't it? Regulates blood pressure, regulates blood sugar levels, regulates neurotransmitters, hormones. I mean, there's a lot of good things with fitness. So that means we need to exercise daily. So moving just shakes things up. It shakes up our spirits. It helps with depression, helps with anxiety. Exercise ignites our digestive fire or our metabolism, if we look at it from a Western term. Makes us efficient fat burners, helps monitor and regulate all those wonderful neurotransmitters. Serotonin, the happy hormone, dopamine, the pleasure hormone, norepinephrine gets us moving, utilizes our hormones, utilizes our enzyme. There's a lot of good things that come out of exercise. You know, it's funny, we're so unmotivated to exercise. It's so hard to get into an exercise regimen for many of us. But if I was to say to those who suffer from anxiety and depression, look, you just have to do this one thing a day. It's going to take 30 minutes a day, and that's going to really reduce your anxiety and depression. People would be clamoring for it. If I could bottle it, people would be buying it. It's here. We can all do it. It's just called getting out there and moving your body, called getting fit. So I can't sort of emphasize how important movement is. And movement is different for everybody. You know, we know that exercise improves cardiovascular health. We know that's going to help with your immune system. But, you know, exercise is more than just sort of burning excess calories or, you know, trying to lose weight. It's not a punishment. And yet many people will say to me, oh my God, I don't exercise. I'm just not motivated to get moving. Yet we're designed to move. We're designed to move. So I like the concept of do no harm. So instead of workouts, let's call them playouts. And ultimately, if you don't enjoy what you're doing in your workout or playout, switch it, change it around, do something else. Do something that you love. And that's different for everybody. For some, it's yoga. For some, it's walking. For some, it's sort of really working hard in the gym, although not many of us are going to the gym right now. But just get out there and move. All you have to do is put some music on and bebop around the house. This is going to get that lymphatic system moving. It's going to increase those feel-good hormones, and your immune system is going to be really stimulated because of it. The next thing I want to talk about, because remember, we're sort of moving up this pyramid here, because this is our Ayurveda approach to really good immune health, is looking at our environment. And our environment is anything that we're surrounded by, sort of emotionally and physically. It's the air, it's the water we take, it's what we wear, it's what we smell, it's how we live on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to walk you through a dinacharya, which is daily routine. Dinacharya, just daily routines. And we're going to walk through, and this is what we're doing at the moment, pretty much most of these things. So when we look at our environment, it is really important to set up good daily routines. Routines are what's going to anchor us in this sort of chaotic world. So having those anchors is going to really help your immune system. So let's start by what time we wake up. So let me ask you, what time do you get up in the morning? Because right now, the best time to get up in the morning to sort of really attune your biological clock to nature is to wake up between 6 and 7. Between 6 and 7 in the morning is actually Vata time. This is the energy of movement. So if we wake up at this time, we're going to feel energized for the rest of the day. If we don't get up till sort of 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, what we're doing is then we're getting up in Kapha time. The energy of Kapha is heavy, dull, sluggish, and you just may feel a little heavier for the rest of the day. So really important then to sort of get up and get moving. So I encourage you to wake up between 6 and 7 in the morning. I have normally those people that say, I'm up at 5, so no big deal. And then I have those that say, don't get up before 10. You must be joking. I'm never getting up at 6. Just try it for a week. You will have so much more energy. That's going to really help with that immune response. And then after we've got up, see, here are some of those sort of daily routines that we put into practice that really benefit the immune system. The first one is oil pulling. Oil pulling has the wonderful ability to be able to remove toxins from our mouth. And if you think about it, anywhere that we have oral secretions or anywhere that is an opening to the body is fair game for any kind of virus or bacteria. So you can imagine that oral health is pretty important. So oil pulling just means that we take a teaspoon of oil, we swish it around several times. That's going to draw all the toxins out of your mouth and then dispose of it. Don't spit down the sink, otherwise you'll be calling an emergency plumber, which I had to do one time. And he said to me, it's people like you that keep me employed. So I will always remember that and never, spit my oil down the sink again. Coconut oil is really nice to use. It has a teeth whitening effect. Sesame oil is actually the better oil to use because it has naturally antibacterial effects as well. So all good things that you can be doing right now with oil pulling. We actually have in our immunity kit an oral swish because that's what you do, swish it around your mouth. So we'll give you samples of that as well. And then the next thing we do is something called Nasya oil. Nasya just means nose, and it's really important that we moisturize our mucous membranes. The reason this helps with immunity is if we allow our mucous membranes to dry out, let's say it's a dry, cold day, or we have central heating on, or maybe we have air conditioning on, these all dry out those mucous membranes. When that happens, the little cilia and hairs that are in those mucous membranes can't work effectively. That's one of your first lines of defense. So really important to moisturize those. But what we tend to do is we tend to dry out and then we sort of turn around and say, I don't like this feeling. Or the body turns around and says, this is not a good situation to be in. We're dried out. Remember, the body always wants to be in homeostasis, which is balance. So what the body does is produce some kind of moisture that it can. So it produces mucus. You then turn around and say, I'm congested. I need an antihistamine, and dry yourself out even more. And the body's like, I'm trying to make things right here. So to avoid all that, one of the daily routines, the dinacharyas that we do, is Nasya oil. And again, it comes in the immune building kit. Again, I'll be sending some samples out to you as well. So it also helps with anxiety and depression. So a really nice thing to get into. I know it seems a little strange to put oil up your nose, but the benefits are huge. The other thing that we tend to do as part of our daily routine is tongue scrape. So tongue scrapers are just a U-shaped metal thing that you just scrape over your tongue, and it removes that white coating on your tongue. It is normal to have a little bit of a white coating on your tongue when you wake up. But if you're sort of scraping your tongue and there's lots of gunk in that, this is a sign of, in Ayurveda, what we call ama, or digestive toxins. If it's on your tongue, it's probably systemic throughout the digestive system. So the reason that we tongue scrape is so that you don't re-digest that ama. And again, the immunity kits come with tongue scrapers, but you can get those anywhere. And I recommend that you do that. Sort of clean your teeth, tongue scrape. It becomes so much part of your routine that it feels strange if you don't tongue scrape. In the same way as it feels strange if you don't brush your teeth. And then one of the other things that we like to do on a daily basis is self-massage. We call this abhyanga. Lots of benefits with massage. There's so many studies that have been done where we know that this sort of really calms that central nervous system. Clearly, that's going to be great then for immunity building. So self-massage with sesame oil, which is naturally antibacterial and warming, for about 15 minutes every day. And what you're going to do is you're going to start with your toes, work towards the heart, start with your fingers, work towards the heart, and sort of really do that self-massage. A lot of benefits besides sort of soothing the central nervous system. It's going to tone muscles, it's going to tone those blood vessels, it's going to help with the lymphatic system, release lethargy and fatigue, and really, really good for calming any kind of anxiety right now. And then lastly, as part of our daily routines, is bathing. And this is something that in this culture, we don't tend to do a lot of, not as much as other cultures. And yet having a bath is some of the most wonderful, calming, grounding things that you can do for your body. When we take a bath, it's important to have warm water, and then sort of really put a cold water compress on your forehead. It's really important that we don't overheat the head. So for Vatas, they actually can have a bath with warm water and put tulsi leaves in. If you're not quite sure where to get tulsi leaves from, you can actually use some tulsi tea bags that you can get from almost any grocery store. And yes, you can throw them in your bath. Or you can use lavender essential oil. And we know that lavender has a lot of immune boosting benefits and is very calming as well. And then our pittas probably don't particularly want to take a bath because they can often get overheated. So bathing probably doesn't appeal to them. So they actually should be persuaded to bathe in cooler water. And they can add sandalwood essential oil. Sandalwood is very cooling. Or some dried mint. Yep, what you've got in your kitchen cupboard, you can sprinkle in your bath. And then kaffas probably need the hottest water of all because they have such sluggish lymphatic systems. And they can add some pepper flakes. So again, all the things that you can find in your kitchen cabinet. Or if you like essential oils, then bergamot essential oil is really good. So I'm just going to take a swig of my ginger tea because I've been talking a lot all day and tonight. And I can feel my voice going a little bit. So really nice to bathe. So there is sort of some body work techniques that you can do that are very immune boosting as well. And then as we're sort of moving our way up the pyramid, we're going to look at some body work. And you body workers out there know just how important this is for a healthy immune system, because a healthy immune system starts with a healthy body. So how do we get to that? Well, we're going to cover 3 things that you can do that are going to be really helpful for you. First off, we mentioned this just now, self-massage. It's self-care, it's calming, decreases stress, improves sleep, grounds the central nervous system. We talked about that, and should be a daily part of your immune building practice. Your skin is the largest organ of your body, so it can accept like herbalized oils as a way to get that herb into the bloodstream. So we can get herbs to you two different ways. We can come through the digestive system, do it that way, and then it has to run through the whole digestive system, or we can apply a herbalized oil to the skin, and that's also a way that we can get herbs into you. So with Vatas, they can use sesame oil or ashwagandha oil, which is really nice for them. Pittas need to use a cooling oil, such as a coconut oil, anything that's cooling. And Kaffas can use something that's heating. So mustard oil is really nice for Kaffas. And again, you're going to start at the extremities and then sort of move towards the heart. So self-massage or Abhyanga daily, really good for immune boosting. The other thing that we're getting into, especially in spring, because it's a great lymphatic system stimulator, is dry brushing. So dry brushing, as I said, stimulates the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system has lymph nodes in it. These filter and cleanse the blood. So dry brushing is going to help with that, stimulates cellular repair as well, reduces congestion, and helps improve immunity. So there's a lot of good things we can do with dry brushing. Now, this may be a little harsh for you Vatas out there, so it would be better for you to use what we call a Garshana glove. A Garshana glove is just a silk glove. So Vatas can use one of these. And, you know, if you don't happen to have a silk glove in your cupboard, and I don't know why you would, you can use a silk scarf and just gently rub that all over you. And that's going to be really nice as well. That has that grounding, calming effect that Vatas need to reduce that anxiety, come out of that sympathetic nervous system mode, go into the parasympathetic mode, which is our breathe and feed mode. So when we're in the parasympathetic mode, that's when we can relax. That's when we can eat. That's when we can feel sexy again and have sex, because our parasympathetic system has kicked back in again. So this really helps with that parasympathetic system. So Vatas use silk gloves. Pittas, you can also use silk gloves or Garshana gloves as well, but you can also dry brush. Kaffas definitely need to dry brush. They need to really stimulate and get that lymphatic system working really well. And then the good old favorites, essential oils. You know, essential oils have such a long history of sort of boosting immune health. We've used many of them in our immune boosting kit. We've used tea tree oil, frankincense, thyme, myrrh, bergamot, some really great essential oils. And essential oils can fight infection by stimulating white blood cells. That's one of the things that they can do. They encourage cellular growth. That's going to promote faster healing. And they're all designed to improve immunity. The extra benefit of essential oils is many of them have rejuvenative properties as well. So they're going to condition the skin. You're going to feel really good. We made up an immune tonic that is in the immune building kit. And it's a combination of many of these essential oils that we can actually place on our chest because they have lung increasing capacities to them. So they really sort of stimulate lung capacity. So we can use essential oils for many, many different things. I love essential oils. And then coming back to our Ayurveda approach, now we get to sort of the apex of the pyramid where we're looking at supplements. Supplements should never be the first line that we reach. Always, we should go through the other things first. So our emotions are in check. We're eating good foods. We're getting out there and moving. Our environment is conducive to what's right for us. We're doing some really good body work to ground and calm that central nervous system. And only then, once all those other things are in place, do we turn to supplements. You know, I often have people that come to me with a whole laundry list of supplements. And, you know, and I often say, well, why are you taking these? And sometimes it's warranted. You know, if you have low vitamin D levels, then yes, you probably need to supplement. If you have low iron, you probably need to supplement. But somehow, somewhere, we got sort of talked into this thinking that we can't possibly be healthy unless we supplement. And that's just not true. But there are times that we do need to supplement and they can be useful. I want to share 3 Ayurveda supplements with you that are generally right for most people. And the first one is actually Triphala. Triphala is one of the most used herbs that we have, or supplements that we have. Just means 3 fruits, tri meaning 3, phala meaning fruits, so 3 fruits that we have. Very gently cleansing and detoxifying. It replenishes, it nourishes, supports respiratory system, it supports the digestive system in a really good way, and the circulatory system. Balances all 3 doshas, so pretty good for vatas, kaphas, and pittas. It's in our immune kit until I run out. When I came back from India, I threw all my clothes away so I could bring back a suitcase of Triphala, and that is what's in my immune building kit until I run out. And Triphala is also a wonderful antioxidant. Antioxidants actually kill off free radicals, which have an effect on DNA. So it's a great fruit. Now, or combination fruit. You won't find these 3 fruits in the local supermarket. So you're going to buy it in tablet form or in powder form. If you're going to do tablets, just take 2 tablets at night before bed. If you're going to do the powder, just take half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, 5 mils of the powder in some warm water and just sort of knock it back. So Triphala is a really nice herb. You can buy this almost anywhere. I mean, Banyan Botanicals is a good source. Coca-Cola is a good source. Organic India. I have no skin in the game. Wherever you choose to buy it, just make sure that it's sourced really well. The next one that I want to share with you is one of my favorites, ghee. And you may be wondering, why do I stick this under supplements? Because it's clearly a food. It is a food. It is also a supplement. And the reason that I've put ghee here and shared it with you as a supplement is because it's great for gut health. You are not going to have immune health unless you have gut health. So ghee is made of short-chain fatty acids called butyric acid. And what happens is intestinal bacteria convert this butyric acid or sort of uptake this butyric acid and use it to proliferate, use it to build energy, to make more of themselves, to provide intestinal wall support as well. So quite often when there's digestive problems, we'll take a probiotic. And some probiotics are good. But taking a probiotic is a little bit like throwing a dart when you're blindfolded and hoping that you're going to make it. Because you have thousands and thousands of bacteria in your gut. What a probiotic is supposed to do is replenish what you're missing. Now, how do you know that the couple of thousand that you've got in that tablet is actually going to replenish what you're missing? And that's why it's a bit like throwing a dart. If it does, great. But 9 times out of 10, it's not going to. Whereas what ghee does is it provides the food for the good bacteria that you already have in your gut. So that allows that bacteria then to replicate. Well, viruses replicate. That allows that bacteria to proliferate. So it's going to contribute to a healthy digestive tract. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to strengthen the immune system. And I've seen ghee now probably in every grocery store. I actually recommend that you buy it yourself because I've tasted some of the ghees from the grocery store and some of them don't taste very good at all. It is pretty simple to make. It is not butter. A lot of people think ghee is clarified butter. Clarified butter is just heated up butter. Ghee is when you boil butter to the point that there is no longer any milk products in it. So much so that even if you're lactose intolerant, you can handle ghee. So make it yourself. We'll send you out our YouTube video for it so that you can watch me making it and then you can follow along and make some yourself. It's pretty easy. And the third supplement that I want to share with you is another fruit called amla or amalaki. They're both interchangeable. And amla is probably the fruit that has the largest amount of vitamin C than any other fruit on the planet. So much so that it's so sour, you can't actually eat it, which is why it comes in powder form and it comes in tablet form as well. You probably will not find amla or amalaki at your grocery store. Maybe your Indian grocery store may have some. So we tend to take it in supplement form. So it's also high in calcium, iron, phosphorus, balancing for all three doshas. It rejuvenates and it revitalizes all the body systems. So increases the body's resistance to viruses. And if you get the powder, it's so sour that you're going to have to mix it a little bit with honey. So with this, you're going to probably take 2 tablets at lunch, 2 tablets at dinner. Very, very cooling. So a wonderful thing if you're looking, if you have any kind of acidity or heartburn, then amalaki is a really nice digestive tonic for you. Can I have another swig of my ginger tea? I hope you're drinking some too. So what we did is we put a lot of these things together in our immune kit. And everything in this kit is good for everyone as much as we can make it so. And each one of you will get some samples from me, so don't worry about that. But there are limitations. Even though all the tonics, the mouthwashes, the immune supporting oils are great immune boosters, they are not personalized for you. And you know, we pride ourselves on the fact that medicine is not one size fits all. There's no way that in a general webinar like this, I can personalize what's right for you. Now, everything in the kit is good for everybody, but as I say, it's not personalized. So we actually prefer to work one-on-one because then we can personalize things for you and get to know you and your health challenges so that we can help you. You know, when I go to workshops, when I'm doing a webinar, a lot of people have their health story, but we can't share it here. It's just not the right place. But your health story is really important. So I want to be able to help you. So we pride ourselves on being able to do that off of very sort of personalized programs. So when we do work with somebody, it's done in a really personalized way where we do create personalized wellness plans. So we absolutely go deeper into who you are, your bio-individuality, if you like. And we do this by exploring all aspects of what makes you, you. In our programs, we do include genetic testing as well. That way we can get to know you right down to that molecular level. And then this information is combined with your Ayurveda consultation. That way we create this really comprehensive transformational wellness plan that meets your specific health needs. So for example, are you eating the right foods in the right seasons? Are you getting up at the right time and going to bed at the right time? You know, and if you are out there exercising, are you doing the right exercises to get the best results for your particular dosha? Ayurveda in Sanskrit means the science of life or the science of longevity. So it really is a blueprint for how to live the rest of your life with health and vitality. And that's what I would want for you. So here's what I want to do. Seeing as I can't make personal recommendations for you on this webinar, then I want to schedule a time for us to chat, maybe sort of early next week, and go a little bit deeper into who you are. And this is how it works. Everybody who is on this call, we're offering a complimentary consult to, just because we can't get to know you generally in this webinar and what your immune problems may be. So we start off with the phone consultation. That's when we sort of really look at your health concerns, your health goals, what you're looking to do. Then we take that information back, meet as a team to sort of really look at the underlying cause, the root cause of any health challenges that you're having. And then we'll come back to you with some recommendations to share our findings with you. So we can't always help everyone though. People are quite surprised when I say that. I can't always help everybody, but I do have a lot of resources. So if I can't help you, then I will connect you with some resources that can help you. So we'll be reaching out to you. You can also reach out to me, Kerry, at theholistichighway.com. I'm going to need your name, your address. I want to be able to send some immune samples out to you. So if you would like me to send some immune samples out to you, and that's what I would love to do. So A, because we live in this chaotic time, and B, because you have just spent an hour and 15 minutes with me, and I really appreciate that this Thursday evening. So email me your name and address, and I'll be sending you out some immune samples. I'll also enter you for the book drawing as well. I'd love to send out a signed copy of my book for you. And I would love to be able to chat with you further more on a one-on-one basis. So thanks for coming on board tonight. And I'm going to sort of open up the chat now and see if you have any questions for me.
If I could just jump in, people might recognize my voice. It's Rebecca here. I work with the Holistic Highway too. Just before we go to Q&A, I just wanted to let everyone know to be able to avail of your immunity gift and get all of the resources, we're actually going to email all of that out to you. So if you have registered for the webinar, in just a couple of moments, you're going to be getting that link to the complimentary consult, and you're also going to be getting a link for where you can sign up to register for your free gift too, and to go into the book draw. So just before we get to the questions, I just wanted to let you all know that, just save you the effort of having to send an additional email. And yeah, I really enjoyed the webinar, and I hope everyone else did too.
Thanks, Rebecca. So I'm getting a lot of thanks. That was great. Any questions? Lisa, if you're still on the call, you were sort of looking at the chat here. Any questions that came up that you think was really important?
Use essential oils.
So I hear a lot of chat.
Yes, not sure where that's coming from. One of our participants.
Okay, I'll mute again. Any questions? If you want to just put it in the chat, or Scarlett, let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead, Scarlett.
Thank you. I noticed when you were talking about bone broth that several people mentioned that they were vegetarians. So I wondered if you have a solution for that.
Well, I do, and I call that my vegetable dish. And so, you know, when you sort of, you're making some kind of dish and you're scraping carrots and all the carrot peelings, and you chopped an onion and all the onion peelings, and, you know, I call them guts, vegetable guts. So if you save all those and put those in a freezer bag until it's a great big bag and it's full and it's bursting, then you take all those vegetable guts, wash them, and then put them in a big saucepan, fill it up with water, add some cumin, coriander, and fennel, and a little bit of salt, and then just let that boil for a couple of hours or simmer for a couple of hours. Then I want you to strain, and that is going to be this wonderful nutrient-rich vegetable broth that you can sip on during the day, which is also immune boosting. Doesn't have the same quality of being able to seal up intestinal repairs like bone broth does, but it's still a really nice immune booster. So great question, Scarlett. Thank you. Anybody else? Can I see anybody else? Just put your hands up. It's hard to see everybody. There's so many people on the call. It's hard to go through and see if anybody's got a hand up. I think that's it. All right. Well, I want to really thank you for being here tonight. I am here for you. We at the Holistic Highway are here for you too. It is a crazy time. And any way that we can help you, please let us do so. So stay safe and also stay well. Bye-bye now.